Hello and welcome to NewsHour on CCTV International. I'm Zhou Yue in Beijing. The Chinese mainland and Taiwan have begun landmark direct air and sea links. The transport deals were signed after talks in June and November. The move brings to an end the nearly 60-year practice of air and sea transportation between the two sides, which involved routing through a third place. Zheng Sui, bring us the latest.
It's been long anticipated on both sides of the Taiwan Strait, and now finally it's a reality. A passenger airplane operated by China Eastern Airlines took off from Shanghai on the east coast of China's mainland at 8 o'clock on Monday morning and headed for Taipei. Minutes later, a TransAsia Airways passenger plane left Taipei for Shanghai. Their departures marked a formal launch of this direct flight route across the strait. A mainland aviation official in Shanghai spoke on the phone with his counterpart in Taipei. The two air traffic control departments on both sides of the strait had also established procedures for direct flights for the first time. Ahead of the flights, a ceremony was held in Shanghai to mark the historic moment.
The direct routes will save a great deal of time and money for the travel of people across the strait and for the transportation of goods. Direct air traffic will be beneficial to the integration of industries on both sides of the strait.
Also on Monday morning, twin ceremonies at the mainland's northern port city of Tianjin and Taiwan's port of Kaohsiung marked the beginning of direct shipping services. This will slash travel time for ships crossing the strait. The mainland plans to open 63 ports to Taiwan-registered ships, while Taiwan will open 11 to mainland-registered ships. The two sides may choose to increase the number of ports involved as the situation develops. Zheng Sui, CCTV.
For the first time since 1949, the Chinese mainland and Taiwan have begun direct postal services. A ceremony was held at Beijing Capital International Airport on Monday morning, marking the launch of direct cross-strait postal services. Representatives from both sides of the Taiwan Strait witnessed the historic moment. Li Chunxia has the story.
现在海峡两岸全面直接通邮正式启动。
Decades after being cut off, direct postal services between the Chinese mainland and Taiwan have finally resumed. Dignitaries and guests from across the strait attended Monday morning ceremony. As a symbolic gesture, they posted letters to Taiwan. Among the guests was 81-year-old Taiwan-born Zheng Jian, who sent out a letter to his family on the island. An array of mail services, including letters and parcels, express mail service, and postal remittances, are now available across the strait from Monday. The letters will now be shipped directly to Taiwan, eliminating the need for them to first be shipped through a third location. For many, the benefits of faster postal service goes beyond lower cost and faster deliveries.
The direct postal service across the strait provides faster, safer postal services to people on both sides. It marks a step forward in cross-strait links. I hereby call on people on both sides of the strait to mobilize their wisdom, passion, and efforts to create a new era for our Chinese people. I'm sure the faster and safer channel for cross-strait communication will help the realization of peaceful and mutually beneficial cross-strait ties.
A senior official from the State Council's Taiwan Affairs Office says he shares the sentiment on restarting direct postal links between the mainland and Taiwan after nearly 60 years.
The direct postal services between the mainland and Taiwan will draw the two sides closer, pushing forward the development of peaceful cross-strait relations in the right direction. The mainland will join efforts with Taiwan compatriots to promote the peaceful development of cross-strait ties to a new stage. All-around communication and cooperation will push cross-strait ties to a new level.
postal services between the mainland and Taiwan were cut off in 1949. Decades after that, the services resumed in 1989. But in those days, parcels and letters had to first go through Hong Kong. Telegraph and telephone links also relied on a third location for transferring signals. But on November the 4th this year, the president of the Mainland's Association for Relations Across the Taiwan Strait, Chen Yunlin, and the chairman of the Taiwan-based Straits Exchange Foundation, Chiang Ping-kun, signed historic agreements on direct postal services, along with agreements on direct shipping and flights. Li Chunxia, CCTV.
Over in Taiwan on Monday morning, on the other side of the straits, the chairman of the Taiwan-based Chunhua Post Company, Wu Mingyu, sent a symbolic letter to Liu Andong, the president of China Post Cooperation on the Chinese mainland. The Association for Relations Across the Taiwan Straits and the Taiwan-based Straits Exchange Foundation have negotiated for years to establish direct links across the Taiwan Straits. Today, people on both sides of the Taiwan Straits are enjoying the benefits of direct flights, shipping and mail services. Chen Guang has the latest.
When planes from the Chinese mainland touch down in Taiwan now, travelers will have more time to spend on the island because flight times are shorter than before. For frequent travelers like Gregory Chan, this is certainly good news. Having spent many years traveling across the Taiwan Straits, Chan has been keeping track of the landmark events in cross-strait relations.
In the past, because the political sort of differences, the both sides had to delay this process to make necessary improvement. Now we have got rid of those barriers. So I think this is marvelous because each time you pass through another place, whether it's Macau, Hong Kong, or any other locations, is time wasted.
But these changes did not happen overnight. Back in 1992, Emirates and CEF held negotiations in Hong Kong, reaching what became known as the 1992 Consensus. Over the next 6 years, the Emirates president and the CEF chairman met twice in Singapore and Shanghai and reached consensus on 4 points involving dialogue across the straits on political issues. But in 1999, plans for a third meeting were put off indefinitely after the then Taiwan leader Lee Teng-hui introduced his controversial two-state theory. It was not until June this year that the Emirates and CEF resumed talks in Beijing. They reached consensus on various issues, including weekend chartered flights and allowing mainland tourists to travel to Taiwan. And on November 4th, an agreement on direct air, sea and postal links was finally inked.
大家报告的是，两岸三通的基本上的主要内容。
I can tell you with great happiness that all major topics related to the 3 direct links between the straits have been put into real words in the valuable agreements we signed. The future will prove to us this is the right way to go, and it will bring more and more tangible benefits to people in the mainland and Taiwan.
For people like Gregory Chan, the 3 direct links make doing business more convenient. But they also bring compatriots on both sides closer together in all senses. Closer links mean greater efficiency as well as greater understanding. Chen Guang, CCTV.
With the unprecedented introduction of direct flights between the mainland's economic hub Shanghai and Taiwan's capital Taipei, the travel time between the two cities has been greatly reduced. Passengers now no longer need to make a detour flight over Hong Kong. Previously, all travelers crossing the Taiwan Straits had to pass over Hong Kong before heading to their destinations. A one-way journey between Shanghai and Taipei used to take 2 hours and 40 minutes and cost 1,500 yuan. Planes can now fly directly between the cities, with a one-way trip taking just 1 hour and 40 minutes, and airlines set the price for one-way ticket at about 1,600 yuan. But the final prices will need to be approved by the transportation authorities.